Meeting of the Radnor Township Zoning Hearing Board. Good evening. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Let me explain how we're doing this evening's meeting. This is a bit of a hybrid meeting. There are a number of us here in the Township building to meet with the applicants on this evening's agenda. 4 of the 5 members of the board are joining via Zoom. We are going to try to work through any technical glitches that we happen to run across over the course of the evening. So I appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this. I would note for the members of the board that before you speak, for the benefit of Norma, please identify who is speaking. And then once we confirm that we're sure who the speaker is, the speaker can proceed with questions or comments or whatever other purpose the speaker is participating with. Thank you for the introductory notes. Let's begin. The first matter is appeal number 2904. The applicant Anthony and Gloria Mari, the property located at 203 Church Street, request an extension of the time for obtaining a permit under section 280-144 of the zoning code for an additional 6 months to August the 24th, 2020. Obviously, given the fact that it's a 6-month extension expiring in August, the previous extension that was granted to the applicants expired during the period of time in which the township building was closed and the zoning hearing board was not meeting, which is why we are, I suspect, receiving this appeal today. Is the applicant here?
I do not see him.
Okay. We will, let's table the consideration of this appeal for now, unless he just came in. And the board will recall that the previous extensions granted to the Maris were because of the sewer moratorium that is preventing them from proceeding with their project. And perhaps the solicitor knows better, but I have not heard that that moratorium has been lifted.
No, it has not.
Okay. Yes.
I don't see Anthony out there, but
Yeah.
I know I've represented him in the past, and he did send me a note that he was going to file this. I wasn't. He may have thought it was going to be next month.
Okay. We will. Let's table this for now, and if he appears this evening, we'll take up the matter. If he does not appear, we'll continue it until next month. Okay. Next item, appeal number 3047. The applicant David Hoffman, the property located at 767 and 769 Newtown Road, requests an extension of time for obtaining a permit under section 280-144 of the zoning code for an additional 6 months to November the 4th, 2020. With respect to this application, we have a letter from the counsel to this applicant, Mr. Brosman at the Kaplan Stewart firm, indicating that the applicant is making the request for the extension. The original period of time by which a permit was to be pulled expired on May the 4th, 2020. Again, a time at which the building here was not open and permits would not be able to be pulled at that time. The letter requests the extension and requests also notification from this board for the point in time at which the matter would be scheduled. Now, the solicitor has had conversation with counsel for the applicant today. Was that today?
That was today, yes.
Okay. And in essence, the current circumstances have prevented the applicants from moving forward with their project and pulling the necessary applications before the expiration of the initial period, which is the basis upon which the relief is being granted. Unless any other members of the board had an objection to granting this relief, I would propose granting the relief without any objection, but I'm certainly happy to hear from the board if there is an objection.
No objections.
No problem.
No objection.
Okay. In the absence of objections, the extension on Appeal 3047 will be granted. The next matter, Appeal number 3060, the applicant West Wayne Avenue Ventures LLC, the property located at 108 West Wayne Avenue and zoned WBOD, Wayne Business Overlay District. The applicant is seeking variances from Section 280-55C3 to allow offices on the first floor of the building, Section 280-53.12 for the location and number of parking spaces required for office use, and any other relief deemed necessary for the project. In consultation again with, it's Mr. Brosman again on this matter, we had earlier decided that this matter, given the number of other cases in front of us this evening, would be continued until the July meeting. That was brilliant planning on the board's part because now we have 9 matters for the July meeting, but that's a different issue that we can talk about a bit later. So Appeal 3060 will be continued until the July 16, 2020 meeting. Moving on, Appeal number 3061, the applicant, Hampshire Family Partnership doing business as the Great American Pub, property located at 4 West Avenue and zoned WBOD, Wayne Business Overlay District. The applicant requests a variance from Section 280-58.8 of the code to construct a set of stairs in their required front yard setback to provide access to its approved rooftop dining use. In the alternative, the applicant contends that the use is permitted by right or such other relief consistent with the testimony and exhibits presented at the hearing. Mr. Cornelia?
Thank you. Nick Keneally representing the applicant, and we're going to have Sarge and Nick testify. If you guys want to stand up and get sworn in.
I think we just lost him, guys.
We're swearing in witnesses.
Why don't we go one at a time?
Yeah, everything is going to need to be through the mics so the folks on the Zoom can hear. So step up, be sworn. He needs a mic. Thanks.
Raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about the difference between
Yes.
and take the mask off of the testimony?
Yes.
Full name?
Mark Hempshire, Hemcher. Thank you.
Just by way of brief opening, back, we'll get him when it's his turn. Back in 2018, the Hampshires approached the township regarding the possibility of doing roof deck dining in Radnor Township in the Wayne Business Overlay District. The purpose of it was due to pressure from other locations such as Phoenixville and in particular the Valley Forge Town Center and Bryn Mawr. The feeling was that the WBOD needs to be improved and made more modern. The WBOD was established in 2017, and it's a great ordinance. I think it's been great for Wayne, but it does need some modernization, particularly as a result of other areas developing more expansive outdoor dining and roof deck dining. And we particularly have seen this during this COVID situation when the need for outdoor dining has become even more
Nick,
important.
hold on for a second. If members of the board could please mute themselves, that would be great. Thank you.
The township was receptive to the ordinance, and after several months, it actually was approved by the Board of Commissioners. Why we're here this evening is the International Building Code requires 2 points of ingress and egress. And of course, you have to have one handicap type egress, and the Hampshires are providing a handicap elevator in the back of the pub, inside in the back of the pub, in the rear of the pub, for those of you who have been in there. And then they need one other point of ingress and egress, and that's the point that is being proposed to be located in front of the building. Now, when we say in front of the building, again, if you're familiar with the pub, you know we have a patio with outdoor dining. That patio will remain, and some of the outdoor dining will remain as well. But the steps would come down from the roof and impinge somewhat on that outdoor dining area close to where the front wall is located. The WBOD requires that the front yard in the district be 50 feet from the center of the street. So in this case, it's 50 feet from the center of North Wayne Avenue. In this instance, the steps will be 39 feet, 8 inches from the center of North Wayne Avenue. But as you'll see from the photographs, and again, if you're familiar with Wayne, you're not going to be able to see these steps anyway. We have the architect who will testify as to why it's necessary to put the steps in desired location in the front. And as I mentioned, we will have a handicap accessible elevator inside the building in the rear of the building. Also, the 2 points of ingress and egress have to actually be at separate points in the building. So first I'll call Sarge Mark Hampshire. And Mark, you're a member of the Hampshire Family Partnership, the applicant here?
Yes, correct.
And the Hampshire Family Partnership owns the property, correct?
Yes.
How long has the Hampshire Family Partnership been operating the Great American Pub at that location?
20-plus years.
Did you have other restaurants in Radnor as well?
We had a Horse P. Jerky's from 1970 to 1990.
And you, your family, they've all born, raised, Radnor Township, Radnor
Yes.
schools, the whole bit.
Yes.
And actually, you decided to come back into Wayne with the Great American Pub because of the affinity for Radnor Township.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
I guess it was your dad who kind of really
Yes.
rolled the boat on that one. I'm going to show you what's been marked as A3. And bear with me. So these docks, sure. Sure, yeah, yeah, got it, great, wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, they should all come up, right? Share it. You want to share all of them, or I'll just pick up? Yeah. Okay. No, you can pick them from up there. From the tabs. Yeah, from the tabs. Okay. First, Mark is A2 is a deed to the property, and that's accurate representation of the deed.
Yes.
I've marked as A3. It's not. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, I got it. I thought I got it.
Nick, is A3 changed from
No.
the exhibit that was in the package?
No, it's the
So
same.
that's the Google map?
That is the Google map.
Okay.
It's the Google map of the, whereas A3, I believe, is the Wayne Business Overlay District Google map of the Wayne Business Overlay District. And that is a fair and accurate representation of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. A4 is the site plan. 5. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you again. So it's just on that, all right.
You can
Didn't
read-
seem like
you
it was
can read
getting,
the-
yeah, it didn't seem like it was working when I was trying it.
Which one are you looking for?
A4. I'll get it, now that I know what we're doing.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
fine.
can- There's
Yeah.
a couple more too.
Yeah,
right, too.
no problem. A6, yeah, you want to go that one? A5. A6, A1, A2, that's A3. What happened to the site plan? Would it be under, should I try file? See, I don't see, yeah, the site plan's not, sorry. Yeah, it's not up there. Go ahead, let me try. There it is, A4, A4, up here, second one. Okay. Now, Mark, I'm going to show you what I have marked as A4, and this shows a location of the Great American Pub, and it's located at the corner of North Wayne Avenue and West Avenue, North Wayne being here, West Avenue being there. We have parking in front of the building on West Avenue, correct?
Yes.
In this location, and we can just make it, and that's the whole property. And as you notice, the property is kind of a long, narrow building.
Yes.
And in this location here is where we are showing the stairways. You can look right up there, hopefully, and see that. And these are where the stairways are located, and it's on the patio,
Yes.
correct? And you have is there a landscape area in front of the stairways?
That's a garden with 2 trees and then a stone wall inside of that.
And the stone wall is located here?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then the plan shows North Wayne Avenue, and it indicates the middle of North Wayne, and it shows 30 feet. Is that
Yes.
accurate? All
Yes.
right. And then it shows another 9 feet 8 inches to the end of the stairways there. correct?
Yes.
And you still intend to have patio dining in that location?
Yes.
And the stairways would go up and then up to the roof deck?
Correct. Yes.
Going to show you, hopefully, we can get. And let me ask you this, too. I went through a representation as to the process that you went through as far as getting roof deck dining approved in the Wayne Business Overlay District. And that was the Hampshire Family Partnership application, correct?
Yes.
But it's applicable to the whole WVOD.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was an accurate representation, they say, as the timing and how the process went about?
The timing was long because of the
Yeah.
because all the delays, but yes. Yeah.
All right. And also, can you just tell the board why the thought for the need for roof deck dining in the township?
Well, with the development in Bryn Mawr, Ardmore's done a lot, and mostly we want to keep local business at Radnor Township. The town center in King of Prussia is just drawing a lot of people, so we like to keep the people of Radnor Township, local and supporting local, Wayne Business Association.
And did you also have another roof deck dining?
We have one in Conshohocken, yes. We opened that up about 2 years ago, and it's been very receptive, and people love it.
Showing you what's been marked as A6, and A6 represents shows the view along West Avenue and then the roof deck itself.
Yes.
And if we can find A6, A7. A5, let's go to A5 for a minute. A5, now can you describe what A5 represents?
That is the two trees and the courtyard, the garden, which will be outside of the steps. So that's what you were saying earlier. You really won't see the steps that much from North Wayne Avenue.
So both of those trees will remain the planting area?
Yes, there's 3 there. Actually, there's 2 in the front, and there's 1 coming up the side. So we might have to trim the third one on the side a little bit, but those 2 will definitely stay. And then they're beautiful trees, so we're trying to keep all 3 of them. We might have to trim the 1.
Trying to show what I had presented today, which was marked as A7, which was a view from West Avenue, and it showed the suburban building in the rear of the building. Okay, got it, yes. All right, got it. Yep. Sorry.
Sorry. This is A7?
This is A7.
So this is in addition to what was originally provided in the package?
Yes, and I can hand that up, John.
If you've got everything digital, can we simply get a file, or do we need a printout? Yeah. Yeah, if you just get it to us electronically,
Okay.
that'll be fine. Kevin?
I can give it to Gus if he wants it.
Yeah.
Okay. Showing A7 now, if you look up there, Mark, can you just tell the board what A7 represents? Is that the view from West Avenue?
That's the view from West Avenue, correct, yes.
And there is a building that kind of looms over the pub, and what building is that? Sit right here in this location.
That's the suburban building.
Okay.
Yes.
And the roof deck would be on top of this, of the Great American Pub? where it
Correct.
currently exists?
Yes.
Okay. That's all and we did receive approval from Design Review Board for the steps,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
As well as the roof deck dining.
yes, absolutely.
That's all I have for Mark. I would call the architect to just for.
Thank you.
Hold on. Any questions from the board for this witness? We're going to give people a little time to
Sure.
take themselves off mute and ask questions if that's what they want to do.
I guess, Nick, it's Brad. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Brad,
great.
we can.
Okay, the picture, or your A6, and I guess my A6 look a little bit different, and I just wanted to get a clarification. And the only difference is, in my A6, there are kind of 2 stairwells on where your stairwell is right now. There's one that's kind of in the lighter shade next to the darker one, and then on the far end, on the other side of the building, there also seems to be a shade of a staircase, and I'm not really sure. If
Yeah,
that's,
Brad, yeah.
that it-
Initially, we had put a stairway there for review by the township, and that violated the International Building Code. It was too close to the building behind it. And so that stairway is not being proposed. We're not going to build it. We're not requesting relief for it or anything of that nature. That was if you look at,
yeah, okay.
yeah, it would have been located looking at the, it's amazing how much better our kids are than us at this. I think my 5-year-old granddaughter is much better than I am at it. Yeah, I'm trying to. It's not moving.
Nick, it's good. I get it. You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
you clarified. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, are there any
That's
other
it for me.
member questions?
Can I ask a quick question? It's Jamie.
Go ahead.
Are there any interior stairs that lead to the roof that we don't see on here
No.
presently near the elevator?
No. Just the elevator will be inside.
I'm sorry, the elevator would.
The elevator will be
So-
inside, yes.
I just had a question on A6, and I think it's...
This is George Nagel.
Yeah, George Nagel. Follow-up to Brad's question. On A6, there seems to be a light staircase. There seems to be 2 staircases. And is that just one not in the program anymore?
Correct. And I'm trying to pull it up, George.
In front of the building.
All right, wait a minute. Maybe down here I can do it. Here you go. Hold on. There it is. On this one, George?
No.
Oh, this one, yeah,
Yeah.
those stairs are not there. Yes, they're not being proposed.
No, the other side, the front.
Oh, the front,
The front.
there's only one set.
Okay, it looked like there were 2. That's
Yeah.
my only question.
Yeah, actually, there look like there are 2 on the exhibit I'm looking at as well. So if you could just kind of drag that
There you go.
to the right.
Oh, okay, yeah, they don't, yeah, it's not there. They're here like this. It goes
Okay.
up and then that way.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
It looks like that was erased too, I think.
Okay. Okay, any other board questions? Okay, the only question I have is whether any consideration was given to solving the stair problem by doing the stairs from the inside instead of going from the outside.
You want to start with it? Yeah, that's why I was going to call the architect.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, if I'm breaking my mic, if I'm jumping the gun.
okay.
Thank you.
Ready to swear the next witness?
Raise your right hand. You do swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and the truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
And state your full name and spell it, please.
My name is Nicholas Beteg. Last name is spelled B-E-T-E-G-H.
And Nick, what is your profession?
I'm an architect.
And are you a registered Pennsylvania architect?
Yes, I am.
And have you designed the project for the Great American Pub?
Yes.
That we're talking about here this evening.
That's correct.
There was a question asked regarding why we can't put the second set of stairs or the second ingress and egress on the inside. Can you tell the board why that is not feasible?
Well, there are structural issues. Basically, the new roof deck is being designed to take the live load of people up there, and it has to take a weight of 100 pounds per square foot. So basically, we're building a new roof over the existing roof. So by putting the stairs on the inside, there's additional structural problems to deal with existing structure in the front of the building, what we're talking about.
So the issue is that it would be technically feasible but expensive to do it that way?
Well, feasible only if it's doable, but there's also a problem that we have a handicap bathroom there, which will be in the way of the stairs. So that will pose another problem as far as being able to putting it on the inside now. Putting it somewhere else in the building, it's not feasible again, code-wise, because the secondary means of egress is the elevator on the other end of the building. So having 2 means of egress at remote locations is what's essential.
Also, is the building and the interior narrow?
The building is, yeah, it's 26 feet wide on the outside. On the inside, it's 24 feet wide.
Does that limit your
So-
ability to put the stairways in?
Well,
Does it conflict with other areas that are?
it
used
would
for
conflict with other areas. You know, the net area in that restaurant is under 2,000 square feet for seating and so on. So we're just taking more space away.
Where's
also.
where's the main entrance for the pub?
The main entrance is at the corner of where Wayne Avenue and West Avenue come together.
This
That's
area
the main
here?
entrance right there, yeah.
If you place the stairs interior, would it conflict with the main entrance?
It would conflict to some extent, yes.
Also, obviously, you can't put it on West Avenue because we have the same issue on West Avenue as we would have on North Wayne. That is, it would violate the front yard setback, and actually, it would be in the parking area.
Correct.
And then we had mentioned before, in the rear, is there a reason why you can't put it in the rear of the building?
In the rear of the building, you can't because you have it, again, near the elevator. And the two means of egresses are adjacent to each other. That wouldn't work code-wise.
And is there also a code issue with putting them outside as far as the distance between the stairs and the neighboring building?
Well, there's restrictions as far as the setbacks to the adjacent buildings.
From the International Building Code?
Yeah, from the code-wise.
No, we're
yeah.
not talking zoning, we're talking International
Yeah.
Building Code, okay. And just to go a little bit more, you had talked a little bit about structural. Can you just, tell us a little more about why it's not feasible from a structural standpoint?
Well, the one thing I haven't mentioned is that if you put the stairs on the inside, you have to enclose the stairs up on the roof so that no rain and so on comes in. So basically, you'll have a stair tower extending just like the elevation shows, like a bathroom and the elevator tower. They're set back away from the facade. Basically, the design review board preferred not to be able to see something really tall. And if we put the stairs on the North Wayne Avenue side, on the inside, you will end up with a stair tower right facing North Wayne Avenue.
Right here, is this where I'm indicating here?
Exactly. Yes, correct.
That's all I have for this witness.
Are there any questions from the members of the board for this witness? Going once, going twice? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
John, that's all I have. I would just request that the exhibits be made part of the record, please.
Without objection. Nick, one question might be useful to hear about before we open it up for public comment is the idea of hardship here. I think one could describe the rooftop dining ordinance as, progressive and a great idea. It doesn't guarantee an inexpensive construction job, though. This is, the property owner choosing to take advantage of the new ordinance and try to do things to use it to the full capacity that they're permitted. But we do need to think about hardship. We've been reminded that we need to think about hardship, and I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are in terms of how this application satisfies that requirement.
In this instance, I think as you know, and as we see from the survey and even the roof plan itself, that we have a long, narrow property as well as a long, narrow building. You need 2 points of access, ingress and egress, both by township standards and International Building Code standards. One of them has to be handicap accessible, which we are providing by an elevator inside. The other one has to be at the other end of the building. And so the only other feasible area to put it would be either in the front of the building in this area here or outside in the area here. You have very limited space already in the building. If you put it anywhere else, if you're familiar at all with the Great American Pub, you have some seating in this area, then you have the bar extending back to here, and then the dining area in the back, where the elevator would be located, and actually some seats would already be lost as a result of the installation of the elevator. The issue with putting it inside is we would have to remove a handicap bathroom that is located approximately in this area of the pub, and there's really no other place to put it. Additionally, as the architect testified to, we have architectural issues and load issues both with the existing structure and any new structure we would construct in this area that really makes it infeasible to put it inside. And it is certainly, it is going to be expensive to put the rooftop dining in. If we are forced to put it inside, which really is not feasible and would not be done, it would be an extreme financial burden in that basically we're talking about removal of the entire roof, the existing roof, and reinforcing of the existing structure, throughout the pub area. For that reason, I think that we've established a hardship. It's a physical hardship that's unique to this land. There is no hardship among neighbors or any burden on neighbors, or is certainly not inconsistent with the public welfare. And for that reason, I think we've established the grounds to establish a variance and a hardship.
Any other questions from board members on this point? Okay, hearing none. Thanks, Nick. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on behalf of or in opposition to this application? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to, let's get a motion and then we can chat about what the motion is. Who would like to present a motion?
It's Brad. I'll make a motion.
And what is that motion?
A motion, too fast. The motion is to approve the variance under section 28053.8 in accordance with the plans marked A6.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, board discussion?
John, it's Jamie. Is there a way to take the plans down so we have a view?
Sure. If you just stop sharing the exhibits, then we can tile the members.
Sorry.
There we go.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jamie.
Can't see it.
So any discussion on the motion?
None.
Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the the relief request?
Was there a second? Did anyone second?
Aye.
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 Hold on, we're confirming. Hey, George, did you second the motion?
What'd you say, John?
Did you second the motion we're voting on?
I did second it, yes.
All right, calling the vote again. We're going to do it by roll for benefit of Norma and the record. Mr. Delizia?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Weitzman?
Aye.
Ms. Foreman?
Aye.
And Norma, I approve as well. The vote is 5-0. Good luck with the project, and thanks for dealing with these technical things. Thank you.
Hey, John, it's Rich Weitzman.
Hey, Rich.
As the next case comes up, it was a little difficult to hear the witnesses. We could hear Nick perfectly fine. The witnesses were a little soft.
Okay, I'll encourage them to speak more clearly into the microphone. Thanks, Rich. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We're making lemonade here tonight, so I appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next appeal, Appeal 3062, the applicant, Shri Durja LLC, property located at 537 Chandler Lane and zoned R1 residential. The applicant seeks to construct an addition to the front of his home, which will increase the existing nonconformity regarding the front yard setback by 3 to 5 feet. Applicant seeks a variance from section 380-15C of the code regarding the required front yard setback. In the alternative, applicant contends that the relief is de minimis or such other relief consistent with the exhibits and testimony presented. Mr. Cornelia.
Thank you. Does the board prefer that I keep the exhibits on, or do you want to do the normal Zoom meeting where we can see people?
I'm fine. It's really the other members. Folks, during the presentation, do you mind having the exhibits up continuously, or do you prefer that when testimony, well, you can't see the testimony anyway. You can hear it. Do you prefer to see each other or see the exhibits, or what?
That was my question. I'd like to see the live action.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get voice and you're going to get exhibits. We don't have live action because we don't have a camera signed into the Zoom meeting that's focused on counsel and the witnesses. Now, you're spared seeing me this week too, so that's, it's a plus.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a way for the board to see the witnesses, I guess?
Absent signing another computer into the Zoom, and then there are echo issues.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this week we can't see the witnesses. Next time we do it, we'll go all Zoom instead of this hybrid idea, and we'll move on. Mr. Cornelia.
Thank you. Harry, remember to speak into that mic.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your full name and spell it out.
Hari Reddy. Last name is Reddy.
Say one name and spell it, and then another name and spell it.
Hari, Hari. Last name is Reddy, Reddy.
This is a request for a front yard setback. We have a legal nonconformity. The existing home is zoned R1 on Chandler Lane. You'll see the property is located between Chandler Lane and Route 320 Sproul Road. There's a large drop-off in the back, which makes the rear of the property unusable. The request here is basically to put a front porch on a home that is being renovated that will extend 4 additional feet closer to the front yard setback to the right-of-way. Harry, where do you reside?
I live in Bryn Mawr.
And are you the owner of the subject property?
Yes.
And did you purchase the property in August of 2019 as shown on A2, the deed?
Yes.
And when was the house on the property constructed?
1951.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as A6. Is A6 represent the house as you... I'm sorry. Yeah. Right, okay. Okay, there you go. Does A6 represent the house that you purchased?
Yes.
And it had, actually the area I'm showing here, there's a door there. Is that the actual front door of that house?
No, that's not actual front door.
And it's the actual front door here?
Yeah.
Okay. And you see that you have a garage here, kind of.
Yes.
Right. So your proposal is to put up, basically you're in the process currently of rehabbing this house?
Yes.
And you're actually building on the same footprint?
Yes.
And your proposal is to put a front porch that we'll see that has already been marked as an exhibit on your rehabbed house.
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit A3. And is this the zoning ordinance from Radnor Township when the house was constructed?
Yes.
And the reason I'm showing you this is that at that time, the requirement was for the front yard to be 40 feet.
Yes.
And actually, the side yards were only required to be 10 feet and 30 feet,
Yeah.
which are much more now. Yeah, remember, you got to let me finish and then answer. Yeah. And the side yards were required to be 10 feet with an aggregate of 30. Is that accurate at that time?
Yes.
So the house is non-conforming as to side yard setback as well.
Yes.
Now I'm going to show you what has been marked already as A4, and A4 is an aerial view of the property. And the star here is your property, 537 Chandler Lane.
Yes.
And here is Chandler Lane located here, the homes on Chandler Lane, and then the rear is Sproul Road.
Yes.
And your property goes all the way back to Sproul Road,
Yes.
but it's a very steep drop, as we'll show by other photographs.
Yes, it is.
What you're proposing here, is it consistent with the other homes on Chandler Lane?
Yeah.
We had mentioned the land A7. Do you have a retaining wall in the back of the property?
Yes.
All right, and is this a photo of the retaining wall?
Yeah.
And then there's a steep drop as you go down the Sproul Road?
Yes.
A7B, again showing the steep drop down the Sproul Road. Your property is the wooded area, is that right?
Yeah, that's in the back. You see the storage area right there?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah, those woods are my property.
And then this is the neighboring property here?
Yes.
A7C, is that your property?
Yeah.
And that's the retaining wall,
Yes.
pretty big retaining wall.
Yeah.
And that retaining wall is existing.
That is existing.
Then A7D, again, is that your house under construction?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that you're building this house on the footprint,
Yes.
except for what we're asking for this evening.
Yeah.
And these are, again, it shows the slope of your property.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as A5. And see if I can expand it. This is the site plan.
Yeah.
Again, it shows like you have a long, narrow lot.
Yes.
And it also shows the existing home or the existing footprint in the front,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
The existing driveway,
Yes.
the retaining wall, and whatever backyard area you have there.
Yes.
And what you're proposing, and you can see on the plan, is a 99 square foot addition to the property.
Yes.
And that addition is, you have two areas that you're referring to here. An area here that says 55 square feet, and an area here that says 44 square feet. The 55 square feet that says proposed house, what is that?
It's for hanging of jackets and putting shoes before entering into the house, into the main house.
So is that where your front door is going to be located?
Yes.
Now, the existing home, this corner of the existing home, which is the closest to the right-of-way being here, that is 40 feet.
Yes.
And you'll notice that the required front yard setback is 60 feet, showing your building envelope here.
Yes.
Correct? And your proposal is to come out, because it's located in the middle of the area, it's only a 4-foot encroachment into the existing front yard, so you'd be reducing the front yard setback from 40 feet to 36 feet.
Yes.
And the area that says proposed covered porch, 44 feet, what is that?
It's covering the front door, giving shade whoever comes in, leaving the packages in safe area.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as A6B, I hope. There you go. Is that where we are right now?
Yes.
Okay. And again, this would be the front door, and what you're asking is to put as you said, the little addition plus the porch in this area here.
Yeah.
Where I'm showing on A6B.
Yes.
Then finally, I want you to describe what A8 represents.
You want me to go?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it. Oh, there you go. So is this your proposed home?
Yes.
The elevation, the front elevation?
Yes.
And again, we have the existing garage. same
Yes.
Location.
Yes.
And you have a covered porch here, and you can see in this area, the little area that that I guess if it was another part of the house would be described as a mudroom, but kind of similar to that.
Yes.
Okay, you would have hooks for people coming in and to hang coats or do whatever in that area.
Yes.
And then you would have actually, to protect people from the elements, you would have a front porch. It's not enclosed, but would be covered from the elements.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Are there any questions from members of the board for this witness?
It's Rich White. Can you hear me okay?
Great, Rich.
Hi. Okay, so I guess what I want to understand is that I'm going to refer to it as a portico. I don't know if that's the
Right.
proper term of art, but there is a portion of that that is interior to the house itself. Is that what I'm understanding?
It's protruding a little bit. It's not part of the house. That's what we are asking for.
I can't hear them.
Yeah, there is an area, I think what Harry was saying, there's an area that I'm showing right here that you can also show if I pull up the plan. There is an area that is part of the house that is enclosed.
Okay. And, Nick,
um,
I think you said almost like a mudroom. So you would enter through that covered front porch into like a mudroom area.
Correct.
I got it. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from members? Okay. I don't have any. Thank you.
That's all I would have, just request the exhibits be made part of the record.
Without objection, I'll ask the hardship question again. Here, it appears that notwithstanding a substantial building envelope, not much of it's buildable.
Correct. You have very much steep slope that's really not buildable at all. You have a home that's existing in the front, and you can even tell by the picture in the front, it's very limited as to where you can build. Again, it's very consistent with the neighborhood, and you know, again, due to the long, narrow lot, and probably more than, it looks like almost 70% of it just is not usable.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public who would like to be heard on this application, either in support or in opposition? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion on this application.
John, I had just, I had one question.
Oh, I'm sorry, George, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. Have we heard from neighbors? And any response from neighbors?
No, not that I'm aware of, and yeah, Kevin's shaking his head no.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Would anyone like to make a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve the application as presented.
I'll second.
Board discussion?
Nothing from me.
The only thing I'll comment on, it's Rich Weitzman. The only thing I'll comment on is that mudroom area. The covered front porch I'm not opposed to. It's that extra little bit that strikes me as
Extra.
It just strikes me as an extra ask, but it's probably not enough to be opposed to the application.
Okay, anyone else? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Again, we'll vote by roll call. Mr. DeLizia?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Weitzman?
Aye.
Ms. Foreman?
Aye.
And I vote in favor. The vote is 5-0. The application is approved. Good luck with your project.
Thank you to the township for proceeding with these hearings, too.
Okay. Last item on this evening's agenda is Appeal 3063. The applicant, Cory and Catherine Lonberger, property located at 513 Midland Circle and zoned R3 residential. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 280 I believe that's supposed to be 25D, frankly, but it's 250 sub 1, side yard setbacks, and Section 280-25E, rear yard setbacks, and 280-25F, maximum impervious, to construct 2 additions and a front porch. The applicant requests relief from the area and bulk restrictions based on common law variance and de minimis variance. Counsel, we ready to proceed?
Just share the screen with the document. When you're
We're getting technical stuff sorted,
Come back out.
members.
You want to hang here for a minute? Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Lee Stivel. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Lee Stivel, Supreme Court Identification 46511. I represent the applicants, Cory and Katie Lonberger. May I approach with exhibits?
We're going to have to do exhibits digitally, so I'll accept whatever you care to bring up. Is it anything different than what was in the application package?
Yes.
And these are also available for benefit of the members participating through Zoom in a digital format?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to, for the members of the board who are remote, I will go through the exhibit package and try to clarify what is missing from the electronic version, which was submitted with the township. The electronic filing submission is on the computer, and the first exhibit that we are proposing is the proof of mailing by the applicants. The Lonbergers served approximately 300, about 300 contiguous neighbors, because they have the gratuitous location of being next to the St. David's condominium. So that's exhibit actually A1,
Okay.
proof of mailing. A2 is the deed dated December 31, 2013. A3 is the exhibit features map, which is the map which is depicted on the screen. So that is exhibit A3. That shows the features as they exist today. Exhibit A4 is a plan which depicts the proposed exhibits, and that is on the screen at this current time. Correct. Exhibit A5, which is the current structure layout, is not part of the electronic presentation. Exhibit A6 is now on the board, and that is a 3-page exhibit marked B1 through B3. So we have the basement, and in terms of orientation, you will see the front of the house on the right-hand side of the page. The north side or left side of the house is in bold, and that's part of the proposed area. The second page has the 2 floors on it. The first floor, which is in the upper portion. The second floor, which is in the lower portion of page B2, excuse me. And then B3 are elevations of the proposed improved home. With that in mind, I would ask the board to mark the following exhibits as least as part of the board package. The hearing advertisement is B1, the Township zoning ordinance is B2, the application of the Lohnbergers as B3, and the Township zoning map is B4. I have 2 witnesses this evening, Katie Lohnberger and Cory Lohnberger. May I proceed?
Yes.
I'll swear them both in now. If you'll stand and raise your right hand. You do swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And you can put your mask down for the testimony so I can hear. But just state your names one at a time.
Cory Lohnberger.
Catherine Lohnberger.
Thank you.
Mhm.
One at a time, right? Not
Yes,
back and forth.
correct.
So use the microphone, whoever tells me.
Thank you. Ms. Lohnberger.
Yes.
We've
Can
identified
you hear
as
me okay or no? Okay.
Yeah.
and just-
It's just us now.
I
mean,
know.
it's-
We just, other people have used the microphone. That's our only concern.
Yeah,
Ms. Lohnberger, may I call you Katie?
Yes.
Thank you. We identified Exhibit A1 for identification. Is that your proof of mailing?
Yes.
And what interest do you have at the property located at 513 Midland?
We're property owners.
And you derived that property through a deed dated December 31st, 2013?
Yes.
And have you resided in the property since 2014?
Yes.
And with whom do you reside at the property?
My husband, Cory, and our 3 children.
And could you take the board for just a quick walk through your property, basement, first floor, and second floor, and just describe the current configuration?
Sure. So our house is approximately 2,200 square feet. It's a 2-story house with a detached garage and a shed on the property. The basement is a finished basement currently. We utilize that. There's a small little office space in there, and that's also what houses our washer and dryer currently. Moving up to the first floor, if you're walking in the front door, there's a living room on the right-hand side, a kind of kitchen dining room that are combined, and then in the back right corner, we use that as our playroom currently. There's an entryway there from the back porch. And then moving upstairs, we have 4 bedrooms. We have a master bedroom currently that has a small bathroom in it with a single vanity, a shower tub combo, and then we have a hall bath, and then 3 additional bedrooms.
How did you and your husband, Cory, come to the conclusion that you wanted to improve and expand your home?
When we initially bought this house back in 2014, we kind of looked at it. At that point, we thought it was our forever home. It's in a great location. We're in a cul-de-sac. At that time, we only had 1 child, so our family's obviously grown a little bit since then. We love the location, being walk to Wayne. You can walk to restaurants, the library, the middle school. Our older daughter has started, she's going to be in second grade, and our middle child will be starting kindergarten next year. So we're in the Wayne Elementary School district, and we really are happy there and like the area. We entertained the idea of moving into a larger home, and we've been looking actively for the last year, but kind of to stay within the, walk to Wayne location, you're really going up significantly in price for that, location. And we just feel for us, it will be more cost effective to even do this sort of a renovation. We'll be able to improve the house in a way that will make it more functional for our family, especially as they get older. We have 3 girls, so any additional bathroom that we have for them would help. Or space for my husband to go in the basement when they're teenagers. So, we're trying to make the home more functional for us. We like the neighborhood. We have good neighbors. Our girls have friends, within walking distance. It's just a great place to live. So if we could make the necessary changes to kind of make it more functional for our family, we would love to be able to do that.
Okay. Now let's take the board through your floor plan to describe how you intend to expand.
Okay,
And
so
I have on the screen the first floor of your home. And am I correct that the cursor is on the front porch?
yes.
And if you're looking at the house from 513 Midland Circle, the left-hand side or the north side is over here.
Yes.
Okay, so please start with the proposed improvements into your home.
Okay, so I'll kind of work my way from right to left, I guess. So if you're looking on the right-hand side, you'll see that one of the additions that we're proposing is a covered entryway to kind of access a mudroom. So currently that's a playroom for us. But again, with 3 children, to be able to create kind of an entryway where they can drop their bags, and we're also moving the laundry room upstairs, which again, with a young family, it's just more convenient to have a laundry on the first floor. And then kind of like, I guess, making your way through the house. The second addition is proposed on the left-hand side. Downstairs, that enables us to create a much larger kitchen area, and also kind of separate the dining room a little bit from that space. We're leaving the living room area untouched, pretty much, just kind of opening up some of the walls to just make it feel a little more open than it currently is. And then, I guess, moving upstairs, you'll see the left-hand addition is a 2-story addition. So what we're doing on the second floor, essentially, is combining 2 bedrooms on the right-hand side to make a true master suite. Our existing master bedroom is, it's just the closet space is very small, and the bathroom is on the smaller side. So this kind of allows us to create a true, master suite with a walk-in closet and much larger bathroom. And then the addition on the left side allows us to preserve, I guess, 4 bedrooms upstairs. It creates an additional bedroom. And I guess the other thing that you'll notice too is on the right-hand side, where the master bath is and the second bath is, we're kind of bumping out over space that is, I guess, a single story. It bumps out from the back a little bit, so we're just moving out on top of that to create a larger shared bathroom. And it also enables us to create a little bit larger closet space within the bedrooms, which the house was built in the 1950s, so the closets are kind of on the smaller side. And again, with 3 girls, that's going to be probably essential.
Now let's just move from one area to the next area in terms of just generally what type of relief you're looking for. At the very top, I see a roof structure. Is that the addition on the right-hand side or south side of the house?
That where the cursor is there?
Yes.
No, that's actually the fireplace, I believe.
Excuse me.
Yes.
All right. There we go. So it would be in the area of the cursor?
Yes,
Okay. And there is no issue with regard to that addition related to side yard, is there?
right.
The
Yes.
issues that you're looking, the board to consider are side yard issues on the porch on both the north and the south side,
Yes,
as well as the addition on the north side yard issues.
yes,
And then taking into account the entirety of the additions, you would have an increase of impervious area.
correct.
Now, did you consider specifically, even for the addition on the north side, any ability to lesser or minimize the intrusion into the side yard?
Yeah, I mean, in talks with our architect, we kind of went back and forth. We looked at, initially making that addition even larger, and also, making it smaller than it is now and kind of settled at where we are. A big factor for us was that, on that second floor, we're creating a bedroom there, and kind of in looking at making that a functional bedroom, we made sure that it could fit a queen-size bed, a bureau, and maybe a desk. Currently, as is, it's about 165 square feet. It's 14 by 11. If you factor in the closet space there, it's actually more like an 11 by 11 room, which is pretty small. So we just felt that if you go any smaller than it is now, you just lose the functionality of it being an additional bedroom.
Did you approach your neighbors?
We did. Okay. We approached the neighbors that are on either side of us.
Did you receive a letter from Ms. Calilio at 517 Midland Circle?
Yes.
And I would have this marked as Exhibit A7 for identification. May I approach? Katie, could you just take a second and read the letter from your neighbor at 517 Midland?
Sure. It says, to whom it may concern, I reside at 517 Midland Circle in Wayne, Pennsylvania. I live next door to the proposed renovation at 513 Midland Circle. I live on the opposite side of where most of the renovation will take place. Our side will have some changes. We have no issue with the proposed work to be done at said location. We have reviewed the proposed plans and are comfortable with the scope of work that is being proposed. Also, for safety reasons, we discussed the 5 pine trees in question as they appear questionable as a safety factor and should be closely examined. The current owners have agreed to replace all trees that will be taken down and appropriately buffer that side of the house. Signed, Linda Callio.
Thank you. And the neighbors at 517 Midland
Hey. Excuse me, counsel?
Brad?
This is Brad Delizia. Yeah, I can't see how you guys are configured in the room, but I can tell you that it is almost impossible to understand the witness. So if it is possible that when after counsel asks a question of the witness, that the counsel and the witness change positions, physical look, I don't know if one's closer to the phone than the other, but we can hear counsel incredibly clear, cannot hear the witness at all. I have no idea what you said about the one neighbor, which is obviously unfortunate, so if she could repeat it, that'd be great. But if you guys can shift positions, so wherever counsel is right now, we can hear him great, but we can't hear the witness at all.
We will antisocial distance, and we will both share the microphone.
Yeah, Brad, the witness is...
Switch back and forth or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. I still want you to social distance, but if you guys can change positions, that would be great.
Yeah, the witness, Brad, was using a handheld, which appears not to be working as well as the podium mic.
Okay.
Would you care for us to reread the letter from the neighbor at 517 Midland?
Yes, I would. It's Brad. Yes, I prefer. I did not understand it.
Okay. Can you
And
hear
this is
me?
George Diego. Can you point out where 517 is physically located on the site plan?
Sure. So 517 Midlands Circle is to the right of our house, which is on the side where the mudroom covered porch addition will be. And
If you're looking at your house,
yes,
at the front of your house, it's the property.
it's on the right-hand side. The right-hand side if you're looking at our house.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
This is 517, right here.
Okay.
Okay, so the letter says, to whom it may concern, I reside at 517 Midland Circle in Wayne, Pennsylvania. I live next door to the proposed renovation at 513 Midland Circle. I live on the opposite side of where most of the renovation will take place. Our side will have some changes. We have no issue with the proposed work to be done at said location. We have reviewed the proposed plans and are comfortable with the scope of work that is being proposed. Also, for safety reasons, we have discussed the 5 pine trees in question as they appear questionable as a safety factor and should be closely examined. The current owners have agreed to replace all trees that will be taken down and appropriately buffer that side of the house. Signed, Linda Callio.
Please stay with me. Katie, did you and your husband also speak with the neighbors on the left-hand side of the home? And if I draw the cursor over here, the property located at 509 Midland.
Yes, we also spoke with those neighbors. We showed them a copy of the proposed plan as well, and kind of discussed what we were planning on doing. They were, yeah.
Did they respond to your issue with regard to the addition proposed on the left-hand side of the home?
Yes, they said they were in agreement with the addition proposed on the left-hand side.
Did they likewise prepare and submit
Counsel,
a letter?
this is hearsay as it is, but why don't we just stop the questioning there? Because any more of her description of what someone else said is not really probative for me.
Absolutely agreement. My question was that did they prepare and submit a letter for review by this board?
No.
Okay. That's all the questioning I have for Ms. Lohnberger.
Okay, questions from members of the board?
Yeah, it's, Brad, I have one quick question. Are you going to be doing any stormwater management as part of this project?
We have not.
Meaning putting in stormwater management?
When the applicant makes, this is Lee Stivel, when the applicant makes application for a building permit, if they are granted relief, within the building permit process, if there is deemed to be the necessity of some type of underground detention, they would certainly consider that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously we can note that due to good planning, that they are under the 500 square feet, let's say minor permit, which is great. And I think, in my opinion, when you're looking at additions, you look at it one way. When you look at an increase of impervious over what is required in the zoning code, we take that very seriously because, as you know, Wayne has and Radnor has a stormwater issue, and that's the reason for that ordinance in there. So, to me, obviously, when I'm thinking about variances, especially for something that will increase water problems, let's say adding in a voluntary pit to manage the stormwater so it does not affect neighbors nor other properties in the area is a factor to take into consideration. But so the answer is no. So I just want to get that on the record. Thank you. That's it for me.
And Mr. DeLizio, you certainly have the applicant's agreement if it were imposed as a condition.
Brad, since you asked that question, I was going to hold the question, but since it's timely, the size of the plans that were submitted make it quite difficult to see some of the markings and calculations that are reflected on the plans. I'd be interested to know, just a reminder as to what the impervious coverage limit is from the code, what the current status of impervious coverage is, and then as proposed, how much more impervious coverage or cover would be added.
Yes, I will be reviewing that with Mr. Lohnberger, but I'd be happy. Mr. Chairman, Exhibit A4 actually has a blow-up. My eyes are...
Your eyes are better than mine, counsel.
I actually use them... no, not really.
Okay, if there's going to be testimony to that issue,
Yes,
we can hold off.
just-
Any other questions, comments from the board for this witness? I will take that as a no. Thank you.
My next witness is Mr. Cory Lohnberger, and what I will do specifically in response to the chairman's comment...
Infirmity.
I can never understand why my grandmother needed glasses when I was young. Okay. I've expanded Exhibit A4 to provide a little better visual of the proposed additions, and then I will move over when needed to the dimension block, which will provide all the information. But generally, you will see that the existing the existing impervious coverage is about 36.1% and would thereby be increased to 38.5%.
And the limitation in,
35%.
sorry, we R3?
35% R3, yes. That is an addition of 499 feet. You'll see that existing is existing, again, is 36.1%, required 35%, proposed with the 167 square foot additional on the left side, 15-foot additional on the right side, and the covered porch is 38.5%.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lohnberger, can you please, may I call you Cory?
Yes.
Can you please describe the location of the property?
Yes, the property, if you're coming out west on Lancaster Avenue, you take a left onto St. David's Road, right next to the St. David's condominiums, across the street from the two apartment properties on the adjacent corners there. And then we are the first left onto Midland Circle, and we are at the back end of that cul-de-sac.
And can you describe your immediate neighborhood?
Yes, it's a residential neighborhood around the cul-de-sac, and then behind us are the St. David's condominiums.
Please describe the property in terms of its area, size, and configuration.
The area size is just over 10,300 square feet, and the layout of the parcel is like an obtuse triangle, where it's very pointed at the top, and then it widens once we go back through the lot.
What are the natural features of your property in terms of slope?
It's a flat, and then there's also a slope towards the back.
Now, can you please describe the improvements of your property? Like the house and the garage and the sheds.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So the improvements, so that we have the garage on the right-hand side, And then we have the home, which takes up, as you can see on the sheet there, I'm not sure if I'm answering that right.
You are, sir. Now, if you can just start with the board, and what are the uses immediately surrounding the property, and then extend it to maybe like 500 or 1,000 feet, your
Sure.
immediate neighborhood area?
The immediate neighborhood area are all similar homes surrounding the cul-de-sac. There's two kind of oddball homes that are also within the cul-de-sac that are different than the others. And then behind us are the St. David's condominiums, and that backs right up to the back of the property. And then going down St. David's Road is also residential homes. Across the street on Midland are the single families, and then you have the apartment buildings on the corner of St. David's and Lancaster.
And just to confirm, the oddball properties are residential?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a first. Please describe the 3 areas of improvement that are being proposed this evening.
Yes, so the 3 areas, again, would be first the front porch there. The second would be the side entrance for the mudroom. And then the third would be the 2-story addition for the bedroom and kitchen.
What is the property zoned?
R3.
And what relief do you request from the board this evening?
We are asking for relief for the existing front corner of the house, the porch on the right side, as well as the left addition.
In other words, the porch extends on both the right and left-hand side into the side yard?
Yes.
And so just so we can move this matter along, the porch on the right side reduces side yard from 14.4 feet to 12.4 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Matter of fact, I'll expand that for ease of review. Okay. And on the left-hand side, the porch extends into the side yard, reducing the side yard to 14.7 feet.
Yes.
And the total side yard, single and aggregate, is 1535 in the R3 district.
Yes.
Now, with regard to the relief that you're asking for on the addition on the left-hand or north side of the property, what are you looking for there?
We're looking for 35 feet required, and there's 34.8 feet existing.
And that is for the rear yard?
Yes.
And you're requesting with the addition that the rear yard be reduced to 32.4 feet?
Yes.
And I'm going to move the cursor to that area to depict it. Is that the area, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Now and the right-hand side, which is the mudroom addition, that does not impede into or inject itself into the side yard, does it?
No.
Okay. Now, based on these improvements, the porch, and oh, by the way, what's the width of the porch?
The width of the porch, I'm sorry? 7 feet.
Okay. Now, based on the 3 additions, the 2 additions and the front porch, your existing impervious is 36.1%?
Yes.
And the requested impervious relief would move the impervious to 38.5%?
Yes.
Okay. To put things into perspective, the reduction of the side yard addition from 15 feet to 14.7 on the right side is approximately a 2% deviation?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you heard your wife discuss with you your attempt to minimize the request for these variances. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to add to her?
No, she did a great job.
Now, sir, what are the unique physical conditions which create an unnecessary hardship that you're having difficulty to make compliance?
It's really the shape of the lot, the way that it is, how it's positioned, where it's very, very small kind of at the front of the property and then goes out like a triangle towards the back. And it just makes it very difficult to do any kind of improvements or extensions.
Is the building envelope irregular in shape?
Yes.
Due to the unique conditions, is a variance necessary to enable reasonable use and expansion of this property?
Yes.
Is the property suitable for the home as proposed with the expansion?
Yes, it is.
Is your proposed expansions consistent with the community in which you reside?
Yes.
Will there be any adverse impact to utilities founded upon the proposed expansions?
No, there will not.
Will there be any change in access to the property based on the proposed expansions?
No, there will not.
Will there be any change in the requirement of parking based on your proposed expansion?
No.
If the variance is granted, will the improved home in any way adversely impact the ability of the community to service your home for fire and panic?
No issue. There will be an access egress window.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
There will be an access egress window.
If the variances are granted, will the proposed expanded home create any type of overcrowding in the community?
No.
And likewise, any adverse impact for public and community services?
No.
Would the proposed home, as expanded, adversely impact the public's health, safety, and morals and general welfare in any way?
No.
One of the board members requested your agreement that you install a ground infiltration bed. Would that be acceptable?
Yes, we'd be happy to do that.
Was the hardship that you're noted in terms of the configuration of the property, the narrowest, the irregular shape of the property, was that self-created?
No, it was not. That's how it was.
Will the grant of the variance in any manner alter the character of the neighborhood or impair the appropriate use of any properties in your neighborhood?
No.
That's all the questions I have of Mr. Lumberger.
Is there any portion of the current structure that's non-conforming?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you
Yes,
could
Mr.
point that out on the plan, I'd appreciate it.
There's a corner of the building. This may either be a survey error or just a small deviation in the original construction. There's a small portion of the corner of the building which is shown to be 14.4 feet to the side yard on the south side. I cannot confirm because I don't know if the survey was done to a typical survey deviation of, I think, 1 1/1000th of an inch.
But it's just that, I'm sorry, it's just that single corner and no other portion of the structure.
We believe so, yes. And one other addition is you raised the issue of impervious. Impervious currently, based on all structures, the patio, the garage, the shed, the house, and walkways, is 36.1% in aggregate.
Are there any members with questions for this witness?
Should I?
Brad, just one question for me. Have you added to the property since you've owned it, for example, the shed or additional decking or anything like that since you've owned the house?
No, we have not. We replaced an existing deck, but we kept it the exact same size and layout. We just replaced the rotted wood with like a Trex, but we didn't make any changes.
Okay, so sorry, it's Brad, by the way. So the garage was there when you bought the house. The shed was there when you bought the house. The sidewalks, all that stuff was there when you bought the house.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, great. I'm just trying to establish that you didn't create it to be 36%, because obviously that is a factor. Because there sometimes, it's hard to believe it, that the residents actually do stuff to their property and don't actually get a permit. And then suddenly when they want to get something done, they say it was kind of existing. So I just want to make sure that we have on the record that the 36.1%, which is existing today, was you didn't go over impervious. You didn't do that on your own. It was how you bought the house.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you. That's the only question I had.
Okay, any other members with questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Hearing none?
We would move for admission of exhibits A1 through A7.
Without objection. One issue, you can be seated. I have a question for council. So we've heard that the shape of the lot is the basis for the claim that is the unique characteristic giving rise to the unreasonable hardship. It seems, but for this one small corner of the house, that they were able to construct a house appropriately within the building footprint. So I would like to hear a discussion on hardship, in that it seems at this time that the house is suitable as a residential property, with reasonable enjoyment of the structure and the improvements. But I would like to hear your thoughts on whether the request for relief is supported by the necessary quantum of hardship under the law.
Thank you. If I could just take you a tour around the property. The property on the very rear property boundary is approximately 101 feet. The property then extends on two legs in a triangular fashion to the tip in the middle of Midland. This is a very irregular, unusual type of building lot that we rarely see, except for in areas of medium or higher density development, which we're in based on your comprehensive plan. This irregular shape, it's actually quadrilateral, extends to the building envelope, where you see that the house was placed in that building envelope, actually wedged in. The building envelope is not our typical square or rectangle that we normally see. It's a quadrilateral with the front dimension being very few feet, extending to the back area, which is approximately 65, 70 feet. Under normal circumstances, if we had a more prototypical lot, square or rectangle, you would probably see a 100 by 100 lot. This lot is about 10,600 square feet. And this size house would fit perfectly in that building envelope and permit reasonable accommodation of growth and improvement of the home. I've provided your, Mr. Chairman, with a proposed findings of facts and conclusions of law. We believe that the irregular nature and the very obtuse shape of this property would provide for hardship under traditional variance purposes. However, I also cited the more lenient, or not, I don't know if I want to say more lenient, the more gratuitous reviews that the courts accord de minimis variances. We believe that the small amount of the deviation moving from 36.1% to 38% in dimensional variances. And if you'll note, even the side yard intrusions, the porch itself only deviates a very little bit on the left or north-hand side and only about 2 feet on the right-hand side from existing. And that's in the very narrowest part of the building envelope. If you move to the rear part of the envelope, even the intrusion of the addition into the side yard, if you actually look at, you have a full 15 plus feet on the opposite side, and if you add in the 14.7 plus at least 15 feet, you're basically at 29.7 feet in that portion of the side yard. So when you look at this, the deviations are very small and should be accorded a reasonable relief under the de minimis variance doctrine. So That's our hardship for traditional purposes and our small relief that we're looking at for de minimis purposes. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Any questions from the board in response to that argument?
Yeah, it's Brad here. Just one question. Did you give any consideration to reducing impervious in driveway or something like that? Because again, we have to give the least amount of relief necessary. So obviously, if you were to get rid of driveway, and again, I don't necessarily know the configuration, but is there any other way to reduce the amount of impervious on the land so you're at least getting either decreasing the amount of the variance and the impervious by more, or getting it at least to where you are today? Did you look at that at all?
We did, and unfortunately the architect's not here tonight. He could speak to that same issue that they were looking at in terms of netting out areas that we were removing and potential areas that were remaining. The driveway is very narrow. It's approximately 9 feet in width. In that width, taking it to the back, so we couldn't create any type of planter situation. We are minimizing in terms of removing some impervious and actually putting improvements on top of those areas. You'll see a walkout steps on the left-hand side. You'll see that steps that are in the front are being replaced with a porch. So this is sort of a net process. I don't see anywhere where we can pick up impervious. As Mr. Cory Lomberger testified to, they already replaced the wearing surface of the deck. We could make a condition on the application that if they ever redo the deck, that they reduce it to bring the impervious down to 35%. That might be one idea for you. If we ever get a permit to actually redo the deck, we would reduce it and get it at 35% coverage.
Okay, is there anything else from the...
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad. Is there anything else from the board? Okay, thank you. There are no members of the public with us at this time, so I will assume that there is no public comment. I would entertain a motion at this time. Please.
It looks like Jamie wants to begin.
Hold on.
Looks like.
Hold on, board. Hold on, board.
Is there a way to
Oh,
put the
yeah,
screen
can we
up
go
so we
full
can
screen?
see it there?
Guys, hold on for a second. The solicitor has a comment, or a question, excuse me.
My apologies for jumping in again late. Did we mark the letter as an exhibit?
A7.
That is A7.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Board, you were saying?
Can I assist in manipulating the screen to get all board members on? Or is it?
Yeah,
How would I do that?
Yeah, just stop sharing the exhibits, and then it'll go mosaic or tile or whatever they call it. Okay, the motion, if one were made, can be for or against. Can someone make a motion? I don't know that I can. I would, but I can't.
All right, so I guess I'll do it. Just make a correction here. So I'll make a motion to approve a variance under sections 280-25D with regard to the side yard setback, section 282-25E with regards to the rear yard setback, and section 280-25F with regard to maximum impervious coverage in accordance with the exhibit entitled permit plan, meaning no more than what is on that particular piece of permit. And I would also like to add the condition of stormwater management as the applicant suggested.
And for the record, let the record reflect that Exhibit A4 is the permit plan that Mr. DeLizia is referring to. And I'm sorry, Brad, what was that bit at the end regarding stormwater?
Condition the approval of the variance of them putting in infiltration stormwater management as part of the project.
May I have a clarification of that? Is that a stormwater management system to handle the impervious on the left-hand side addition? Because we would create a, we would collect from the gutter system and dump it into an impervious, into the detention basin from that addition?
Right. My recommendation would be putting in filtration to cover square footage of 500 square feet, as if you were in the second permit category, but right at the edge. So 500 square feet would be the infiltration amount.
Understood. Thank you.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second. This is George Nagel.
Thanks, George. Board discussion? Jamie, you're highlighted. Do you want to say something?
If I'm highlighted, I'm happy to say something. I think due to the regular nature of the layout of the land, where the house is sitting on the land, I'm comfortable with moving forward. I don't think there's another point on this land, but for building where the deck is, where they would be within the code. So I'm in agreement.
Anyone else?
Nothing.
I'm generally in agreement with the motion, although to the extent that I would dissent from any portion of it, it would be the requirement for stormwater management far in excess of the project that is proposed here. I think that's an unreasonable burden, unreasonable expense on the homeowner. To the extent that there are reasonable stormwater measures that can be taken short of that to specifically address the addition to the impervious nonconformity presented by the application, I would be in favor of that. But to merely impose a requirement that is not called for given the relatively modest scope of the application, I would have problem with the 500-foot stormwater mitigation requirement. So I guess that means I'm against the I'm for the project, but against the stormwater mitigation. Brad, would you consider revising that?
Look, we're going from something that is over the impervious coverage to something that is more over the impervious coverage. I've been on the board for a long time, and I know that when it comes to variances for impervious, it's been a hard hurdle to get over because we have such a bad, I think, water management system in the township. I think I've stayed true to that. I think that is something that we should be doing no matter any time we do a permit, but that is, but I think especially in this case that we're going, over 3% above what what the code says, and that's a lot of square footage. It's way over 500 square feet. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying ordinarily, if you were at 35 going to 38, you would be doing stormwater. It just happens that they happen to already be over 36.1. And, again, I know in the township, and again, this is not this particular applicant here, people sometimes fail to pull permits for sheds, and therefore it's the next homeowner that kind of goes, geez, I didn't realize that the shed probably shouldn't have been there, and I would have been fine, and I probably would have gone from 35 to 36.5, but because we're going from something that's already over the impervious to something that's more over the impervious, I think we have to look out for the neighborhood and the township. And that's how you do it.
Okay.
If Mr. Chairman.
We're not at the point of argument now. This is the board making its determination. I appreciate that you've got thoughts on the question. Let's call the vote on the motion, unless there's any other discussion.
I think, hold on, John.
Yeah.
John, I think George wanted to say something.
I was just going, this is George Nagel, I was just going to add, I would support the motion without the requirement for the stormwater, but I'm not troubled if that's where the majority of the board wants to go with this. That's all I wanted to add. So I guess we should just have.
Okay, thanks.
Let's talk about it. So Jamie, you're okay not putting a condition on it?
I actually would rather we put the condition on it after our discussion. I've seen Wayne underwater. I think it's a smart move.
Okay.
I think Brad's consistency is smart.
Rich, what do you think?
Brad, I was indifferent until you clarified on John's dissent, and I don't have any objection to including the condition. And it didn't sound like the homeowner did either.
Right. Yeah, that's the great thing about it. So, I think we're good to vote.
Thank you. We'll call the vote by roll. Mr. DeLizia, what do you think about your motion?
What?
For or against, Brad? Yes or no?
Did you say that again, John?
We are calling the vote on the motion. Mr. DeLizia.
Okay. Aye. Sorry.
Mr. Nagel.
Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Weitzman.
Aye.
Ms. Foreman.
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well because I'm in favor of the project. And
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have a question, though, clarification, because I became more confused. I was listening to the commentary. Are we to establish a water infiltration bed sufficient to cover the area of impervious above 35%?
No. No, it's 500 square feet. 500 square feet.
500 square feet, okay. Because the 3.1% is approximately 320 square feet. Okay, I got it.
The motion was clear.
That's right. You're reducing it by
500 square feet. That's our target.
500. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Board, if you could hold on the Zoom for a minute. I'm gonna get onto the Zoom meeting on my phone. We need to talk about July scheduling for a minute. Otherwise, there's no other business before us this month. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
Can you send me everything electronically? I will do that. I'll scan everything. I'm going to ask the same to the other council. You know what? Did I give you the neighbor letter? I do have the hard copy of that, but that's what, if we can have everything electronic, so that way it's in one neat spot. That way I can get it to everyone else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for holding
Good job.